Hi guys, Nick here, and welcome to another episode of Relaxing Reviews. Today I'm going to be opening an indie box. Now, what exactly is an indie box? You're probably wondering. IndieBox is a subscription box service, and every month they will send out a physical edition of an indie game. And it's not just the game and the disc, of course. It's a full collector's package, and it comes with all kinds of fun little, trinkets and collectibles, as well as a physical copy of the game and a nice collector's box and the soundtrack to the game as well. And every month, these boxes will go out to subscribers. You can subscribe just on a month by month basis, and if you do, boxes are $25 per month. Or you can opt to sign up for longer periods of time, up to a full year of subscription, at which point the boxes come down to about $20 per box per month, basically. So I think this is a really neat concept. It's cool because it's great for gaming aficionados, especially those who like to have physical copies of games that you can, put on your shelf, for instance, display all the collector's items there proudly. But I think it's also really cool because it gives indie developers a chance to have a physical retail sort of version or release of their games, which otherwise they might not have the opportunity to do. And it's my understanding that IndieBox works closely with the game developers to develop this really cool collector's edition package with all this neat stuff inside. And so conceptually, I really like the idea of the IndieBox service. And so IndieBox was kind enough to send me a sample box with a game from earlier this year in it to open for you guys to check out and to review. And what I'm going to be looking for today is the nature and the quality of the items that are included with the collector's edition, and just a general evaluation of what kind of stuff comes in these packages and whether it's sufficient to justify the price that IndieBox is charging for their service. So, without further ado, let's open up the IndieBox that I was sent. So, here we have our IndieBox. And it is a very colorful box. This is the box that it shipped in, and I have taken a peek inside to see what game I received because I didn't know ahead of time what I would be receiving. I just knew that it would be a game from a past month. However, if you were to sign up for IndieBox, you would know each month what game you would be receiving. It is announced each month. So it's not a blind box, it's not a mystery box. you are informed ahead of time. So let's open this up and take a look at what kind of package IndieBox puts together. So inside we have a fairly simple arrangement. We have a little insert that gives information about the included game and what's in the collector's edition. And as you can see in this box, we have an indie game called Hue. And I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. Well, we'll see more about it when we open it up. And then, of course, we have the game itself. So this is the collector's edition package for Hue that IndieBox has put together. And it's worth noting that each box comes with a Steam key as well as the physical edition. And so if you don't want to open up your physical collector's box because you're crazy like that, you don't have to. You can still use the Steam key and play the game without unboxing your collector's edition. But of course we're going to open this today because that's what this review is all about. We're looking at what's inside, the nature and the quality of the goods, and the volume. So, but before we do that, let's take a look at this right here. This is, as I mentioned, a little insert that they provide that shows you what's in your collector's edition and discusses it a little bit. So, I hope you can see here reasonably well, but it looks like we're going to be getting a collector's edition box, a Hubix cube, okay, the game, of course, an IndieBox sticker, a game disc, and an original soundtrack disc, a figure, an instruction manual, of course, a flask plush, we'll see what that's all about, and a decoder lens. Okay. So I guess now would be a good time to talk a little bit about, didn't fold up right at all. Talk about what this game is. Hue, as far as I can tell, and I have not played it yet, but Hue is a color-based puzzle game in which you change the background color of the level. It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer type game, and so you change the background color, and that allows foreground objects to either appear or disappear into the background, and that is the crux of how you solve the puzzles in the game. This is just what I've gleaned from looking at the Steam page for the game. Like I said, I've not played it, and I'm not going to be playing it in this video either, because this video is a review of the IndieBox package, not of the game itself. But if you are interested, I can certainly do a video with the game. It might be a little bit funny because, as some of you may know, I'm quite colorblind, and so I don't know if the game is going to be playable for me, since it all revolves around the use of color. But if they're bold enough colors, which it looks like they may be, I can probably manage. So please do leave a comment and let me know if you would like to see me attempt to play Hue in a future video. But for now, we're just going to take a look at these items. I guess I can read this out, sure, why not? This just discusses the items we're going to be seeing. So the first item is the collector's edition box, which you saw just a moment ago. It says here, Hue is a stark puzzle platformer where you shift the hue of the world, creating rifts when colors collide. This collector's edition box commemorates the moment when Hue discovers the mighty color lime green. Okay. And if we look at the front of the box, you can see that is in fact the case. Looks like the protagonist, Hue, has discovered the lime green hue. We will also be looking at a Hubix cube. This 2x2 puzzle cube is a colorful puzzle of another kind. Adorned with symbols from the game, the Hubix cube will keep your mind engaged as you work through the head-scratching solution. Tweet us at the IndieBox when you figure it out. Would appreciate the help. Okay. We will also be looking at a flask plush. It says here, finding all the hidden flasks within Hue can be difficult, or be a difficult yet rewarding achievement. So IndieBox wanted to give you a head start on your search by including this plush replica. Think of it as your incentive to take on the perplexing challenge of acquiring them all in game. We'll be looking at a Hue figure. Hue will have a special place in your heart and on your shelf with this acrylic figure featuring the game's hero. Attach Hue to his matching base, and this collectible will certainly add a much welcomed splash of color to any home decor. Well, alright. Oh, and then the standard edition case, which comes with all the other stuff. The Hue standard edition case is jam-packed with a DRM-free installation disc, official soundtrack disc, full-color instruction manual, a decoder lens, which I'm still not quite sure what that's for, and a Hue-themed IndieBox sticker. Okay, so, well, from the description, this seems like a fairly well-appointed collector's box, but the only way to know for sure is to open it up and see for ourselves. So let's take a look. So this is the collector's edition box that we looked at earlier. I'm going to assume that Curve Digital is probably the publisher, maybe, and Fiddlesticks is perhaps the developer. I guess it could be the other way around, but I don't really know, again, having not played it yet. This box does make nice sounds. Which is, I'm sure, not something that IndieBox was thinking about when they put together this collector's package. It is a very colorful looking game, isn't it? It says on the back here, Hue is a vibrant, award-winning puzzle adventure where you alter the world by changing its background color. You explore a dangerous gray land, unearthing colored fragments on a journey to find your missing mother. As obstacles match the background, they disappear, creating new and exciting puzzles, full of peril, mystery, and colors unseen. And then it has a handful of accolades which the game has received. Alright, let's open it up. So it comes nicely plastic wrapped. So here's the flask plush, and I gather this has something to do with the story of the game, although what, I could not tell you. It's simply packaged in plastic. It's kind of cute. It's a little bubbling flask, exactly as advertised. Makes some nice sounds. I think they're nice sounds anyway. Hopefully they're not like nails on a chalkboard for you. At any rate, it's a cute little thing with not a whole lot going on. It's squishy and it appears to be reasonably well made. Don't see anything wrong with it anyway, so there you go. Plush flask. Here is the so-called Hubix cube. It's quite small. Maybe I don't need the scissors. So, yeah, it's a little Rubik's Cube, 2 by 2. I'm not quite sure what the point of it is, but it's pretty light. Honestly, it doesn't feel like super well made or anything. It's very hollow, and the movement is just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'm no like a Rubik's Cube expert or anything, but it's a little bit difficult to spin it. You have to really make sure it's aligned properly. That being said, I don't think anyone is expecting this to be, something they're going to be using a lot. It's more of a collector's item, just a collectible to sit on a shelf, maybe, with your other items from this collector's edition. So, I guess that's the Hubix Cube. So this is the Hue figure. Comes in 2 pieces. That is some very, very crinkly packaging. So, this is the base, obviously. It feels good. Plastic is kind of a matte texture. It is certainly colorful, although it's not particularly heavy. And here we have the character Hue. And Hue is red right now, obviously, which corresponds to the red on the dial there. And he's just a chunk of plastic. A relatively heavy one. Solid. Somewhat thick. Alright, let's slot him in here. So he stands up, no problem. And I think it's kind of a neat looking little figure. It is certainly true to the game, from what I've seen of the game, at least. A little bit that I've looked at. Just screenshots and videos. Getting Hue into his base was a little bit of a stiff fit, but it feels solid enough now that he's in position. Although I will say again, this base is hollow, so it's not super heavy. It does sound nice though. Yeah. Okay, that's enough of that. So those are those items. Now let's see about the game and soundtrack discs, shall we? Okay, so there is the standard edition, as they call it, game package. And what remains in here is just an empty box. So that's the collector's edition box, cardboard box. And then, yeah, this is what we're left with, so. Okay, here's everything. As promised. Wonderfully colorful. a hue color decoder, and I'm still not quite clear on what the purpose of this is, but let me look through it. I don't know. Maybe some of the things in the instruction manual look different with it or something. I don't know. There's probably something to it. It's like a pair of old 3D glasses or something, you know, the ones with the different colored lenses. Makes an interesting sound. It's just cardboard. Just cardboard. And plastic. We have the Hue themed IndieBox sticker, which I think actually looks quite nice. Cool design. The installation disc, of course. I like how they carry over the color wheel theme to the disc. That makes a lot of sense. And nestled in behind here, the official soundtrack. I really like having official soundtracks on actual discs, and all my music actually. I'm kind of old school that way, because I like being able to rip it in a lossless format like FLAC. So there's the soundtrack. And last but not least, we have the manual. Oh, it is very colorful. Look at that. It's quite lovely. I think the game's got a pretty neat art style, don't you? Just from what we've seen so far. It's very striking. Section for notes in the back. All kinds of stuff about items. Here we can learn about the flasks in the game. There are many flasks hidden away in the world of Hue. Can you use your powers of perception to find them all? Well, that is not very informative at all. I guess they're just collectibles. I guess. All kinds of stuff, including a letter from the developer, which I will not read in full here because it's quite long, but it says thank you for buying this very special edition of Hue. And carries on to talk about the development of the game. And yes, it looks like Fiddlesticks is the developer. Oh, here we go. It says here, grab your Hue decoder when you see this symbol in the instruction manual. That little symbol, little letter. Hue's mother has encoded tips, tricks, and lore to help you along your voyage. Oh, that's cool. Let's see if we can flip through and find an instance of that. Right here. So let's take our decoder and I'm not sure if this is going to work for you guys or not, but let's see. Can you see writing? I'm not sure how well that'll pick up on camera, but I can see writing, so I'll read it. It says, pay close attention to the position of each color in the color wheel. When the pace ramps up and you need to change color quickly, doing it from memory could save your life. Now that's what it looks like without the decoder. That's a neat little thing, isn't it? I think that's kind of cool, kind of cute, but it adds a little bit of interest to what would otherwise be just a regular instruction manual, but instead we have a little fun little decoder with these messages. It reminds me of Jumanji. Did you guys ever play Jumanji, the physical game, where you had to put the cards under a decoder, much like this, to read the messages? Very much like that. Okay, well, let me assemble all the items here briefly once again. Okay, so this is once again the assembled contents of this IndieBox. I know you can't really see everything, but there's kind of too much to all fit at once. Got that Hubix cube, of course that insert that we looked at earlier, the color decoder, and the box itself. All kinds of stuff, the discs. So, quite a lot, I'd say, in that package. Quite a lot to look at. And a fairly satisfying collector's edition. But anyway, let's pack this back up and reconvene to chat a little bit about my overall impressions and talk about the value proposition of the IndieBox. Okay, so now that we've had a detailed look at the contents of an IndieBox, what do I think about it? Well, first of all, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I think this is a really cool concept. The idea of a physical edition of a game that otherwise wouldn't have one. And it's obvious from looking at the stuff that came with the Hue collector's edition that IndieBox and the developer do work very closely together to develop a cool and fun package to send out to subscribers. In terms of the quantity of items in the collector's edition, I think it was good. In fact, probably more than I expected, actually, in terms of just the variety of items in there. I thought it was really good. In terms of the quality of the items, some were better than others. In this particular instance, I thought that the little plushie was good. I thought that the Rubik's Cube item felt a little cheap, like it just was very light and insubstantial and sort of just felt a little bit janky. And I thought that the figure of the character Hue was sort of somewhere in between. The base was very light and plasticky feeling. The Hue figure himself was nice and solid feeling, so together it's sort of a average quality, I guess. Um, for a collector who wants to put these items on their shelf, it's just fine because they look great. For someone who is a little more picky about the feel of the items, um, maybe it's not quite up to par with what you'd be hoping for. But I imagine there's variability from month to month depending on what the items are. In terms of all the printed material and the box, for instance, the manual and the game discs and all that stuff, I thought that stuff looked fantastic. In the case of the Hue stuff, it was bright and bold and beautiful and very clearly was something that the game developer had had a major hand in putting together. And like I said, I think that's really cool that the game developers get to sort of have their experience enriched, or whatever you want to call it, by getting to do this physical release that they probably wouldn't otherwise have a chance to do. And in terms of pricing, so let's talk pricing again. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that the boxes range anywhere from 20 to 25 US dollars per month, depending on how long you subscribe for, basically. And I think that's pretty reasonable because, I mean, you're getting the game for starters, which in itself is going to cost you, 15, 20 bucks or something, depending on the game. But I think Hue runs about that on Steam. And you get 2 copies of the game, technically. You get the Steam key for the game, which is a nice touch. And then you also get the physical DRM-free disc. And so on top of that, then, of course, you get the whole collector's package. You get all the cool items that we saw today. And so I think it's a really good value, actually. But, of course, there's shipping on top of that. I mentioned that at the beginning. It's $4 US per box, I believe, if you're within the United States. If you're in Canada, it's $9 additional per box. That's American dollars. And if you're international elsewhere in the world, it's 14 US dollars per box. So that does significantly increase the price, and it might make the value proposition a little bit harder to swallow for people, especially outside of the States. So I think that, yeah, if you're in the US and you like physical collector's editions of games and you're really into indie games, I think this is a no-brainer. I think this is a really cool subscription box service. If you're in Canada, I think it's still fairly worthwhile. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on the IndieBox website month to month and see what games they're putting out boxes for. And I'm willing to pay a little premium, the $5 or whatever, in order to be selective and pick and choose specifically the games that I'm really interested in having a physical collector's edition for. Some people might say, hey, you know what? I'm cool with whatever they send. Sign me up for the full 12 months. Save some money. That's a great idea too, if you're really into the idea of this IndieBox. But you always do have the option of being selective, picking just a few over the course of the year. And I think that's probably what I myself am going to do here. And so perhaps you'll see more videos with these indie boxes in future as ones come along that I think look particularly neat. We'll just have to see, I guess. And then, yeah, international, beyond North America or beyond Canada and the States, it becomes a little bit more difficult to decide if it's worthwhile. And that's just going to have to be on a case by case basis for each of you, I guess. But yeah, maybe you can do it selectively. Again, if you see a game that you really like, then maybe you can spring for it, and it might be worth it for you. Or if you're just really into the idea of physical boxed editions of indie games. And if you are, if any of you are interested in signing up for the IndieBox, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that I have some kind of affiliate link or something like that. Go down into the video description, take a look. It's like a referral link of some kind. I think I have to look into it a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure that if you click that link and sign up for the IndieBox, then I get some kind of kickback. I don't know how much. I don't know anything about it. I'm not even sure that I have this link, but I think I do. And if I do, I will make it obvious in the video description there. And if you want to support what I do here on this channel, feel free to click through on that link and check it out. And if not, that's fine too. I honestly don't care one way or another. But yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. Either way, there will be a link down there to where you can sign up for IndieBox and get this stuff for yourself. So that's what I have to say about IndieBox from our little unboxing here today. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed today's relaxing review. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it chill. And I look very forward to having you back here next time. Bye for now.